What's up guys? In today's video, this is probably going to be a long video, but I've been planning on making this video for a long time now. So as you guys can see on the screen, I'm going to be making a TCM 2024 review. So I'm going to be talking about the patch notes, the content, the dev streams, and the news from January 2024 to December 2024. So let me break it down real quick. So when it comes to the patch notes, I'm not going to be talking about every fix and change with every patch. I'm only going to be talking about the fixes and changes I felt that were the most important with each patch. And then I'm going to be talking about the content such as the cosmetics, maps, map variants, characters, weapon skins, execution packs, etc. And then when it comes to the dev streams, I'm going to be providing a small summary for the dev streams. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be going in depth with the dev streams, only providing a small summary for it. And then finally, I'm going to be talking about the news. And what I mean by news is, when it comes to the news, I'm going to be talking about Sumo, Black Tower Studio, and Xbox Game Pass. That's what I mean by news. And I know some people may be asking, what about Myrtle Times? I'm not going to be going over the Myrtle Times because usually what they say in the Myrtle Times is in the patch notes, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to be talking about the Myrtle Times as much. The only time I'm going to be talking about the Myrtle Times is only for January 2024. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and let's jump right into it. So starting off with January 2024, there wasn't much going on. All we got was the Myrtle Times and a dev stream. There wasn't even an update in January. And this is the only time I'm going to be talking about the Myrtle Times because as you guys can see, there was over 150 fixes and testing, such as Danny's Instant Study, Poison Claws, Choose Flight, Bomb Squad, Leatherface Destroys Faster, etc. And I'm going to be talking about these fixes more in depth in February because that's when the updates came out. And then for January, they did a dev stream and they talked about Shirtless Johnny and Bride Sissy coming out for free. They talked about museum mode, new characters in development, the new map called The Mill, and they also talked about the weapon skins and execution packs coming. Moving on to February 2024, this was a really big update because as you guys saw in January of 2024, there was over 150 fixes and testing. And I'm only going to go over the fixes and changes I feel like are the most important. And I do have some notes here, so I'll be talking about this more in depth. So starting off with the Choose Flight nerf, this takes me back, man. I mean, Choose Flight was a perk everyone had on their build, I feel like. I mean, for me personally, I had Choose Flight on all my builds no matter what. That's how good it was. But it did get nerfed. Choose Flight had 3 charges, and then after the nerf, 1 charge. So yeah, that's a big change when it comes to the Choose Flight perk. And then Bomb Squad got a tune. So before this fix, Bomb Squad had unlimited charges, and you can actually dismantle a trap really quick. It was so cracked because I remember Bomb Squad before this fix, you can dismantle a trap while in the chase. That's how quick it was. So with the Bomb Squad tune, they made it where Bomb Squad has 4 charges plus a 50% dismantle speed for level 3. And then Choose Fight got fixed. So level 3 of Choose Fight was not giving a 5-second duration when winning a close encounter. And then Poison Claw stacking was fixed. Plus they reduced the duration for Poison Claws. Before the fix, Poison Claws was 15 seconds. After the fix, it was 8 seconds. So they cut it basically in half. You know what I mean? So the duration was pretty cracked when Poison Claws first came out. Or when Nancy came out, it was pretty cracked because Poison Claws was stacking. Plus it was 15 seconds. And then Danny Tamper was changed. So hear me out with the Danny Tamper. When Danny first came out, when you're tampering something and you apply the knowledge, it would instantly apply the knowledge and you can just run away. Nowadays, when you're tampering, let's say you're tampering a fuse box and you apply the knowledge, you have to wait for the knowledge to actually reach the end to run away. So before, it would instantly apply the knowledge, you could run away. Nowadays, you would have to wait for the knowledge to reach the end in order to run away and apply the knowledge. You know what I mean? It was a good fix in my opinion. And then the next fix was the match crash fix. So this applies to the lobbies and all that. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but thank God they did this fix because matches would crash after a victim DC'd during an execution. People would do this on purpose to crash a game in a lobby. or to crash a game in general. And it was a pain in the ass because you work your ass off and you kill a victim for them to DC, and then the game crashes. You know what I mean? So thank God they fixed this, because this match crash bug was a pain in the ass. So thank God to the devs for fixing this, because this was needed. And then the next change was the lobby change. So nowadays, when it comes to the lobbies, when 5 people ready up, the match will start in 30 seconds, and you can't see the timer until 5 seconds. And they also made a change when it comes to blocked players. So let's say you block a player after a match and you go into the same lobby with them the next match. It will actually warn you. I forgot what the message was like on the screen, but it actually warns you that there's a blocked player in your lobby and you can back out if you want. So they added that. And then one of the biggest changes in TCM history for me is the grapple change. So now there's chip damage in the grapple. There's no more insta-kill. So when the game first came out, or before this fix in general, let's say you're playing as Leland, you grapple a cook, and Hitchecker comes by and swings at you once. You're dead. You instantly die. Nowadays in the grapple, it's the same now in 2025. When you grapple someone, let's say you grapple a cook, Hitchecker comes by, hits you once, you don't instantly die. He has to keep swinging at you to kill you because it does chip damage. I remember the community had mixed opinions on this. Some people felt like the chip damage was a good idea, and some people felt like the insta-kill was good as well. So it was like 50-50 when this update came out. But I personally believe, you know, it was okay. It's definitely one of the biggest changes they've ever done in TCM history. I know, like I said, I know some people like the insta-kill. Some people like the chip damage more, but it is what it is. I mean, like I said, big change with this update, the chip damage and the grappling. And then the next change was a Danny instant study change. So this was a good change in my opinion, the Danny instant study. So before, when Danny came out, if you got knowledge from the fuse box, you could tamper the fuse box with that knowledge. But nowadays, if you get knowledge from the fuse box, you can't tamper the fuse box with that knowledge. So let me give you an example. If you get knowledge from the fuse box, you have to use that knowledge and tamper something else, such as the valve, gen, battery. Another example, if you get knowledge from the valve, the pressure tank, you can't use that knowledge to tamper the pressure tank. You have to use that knowledge to tamper a different objective, such as the fuse box, gen, battery. You know what I mean? That was a good change in my opinion, because you know what people will do back then? They would get so much knowledge in the basement, they'll come upstairs, get knowledge from the fuse box, and use that knowledge to tamper the fuse box. But you can't do that no more, right? So it was a good change in my opinion. And then easily tuckered out got tuned. So attacks use 30% less stamina, but stam regeneration rate is 40% slower for the easily tuckered out tune. And then lastly, Leatherface got a buff, guys. I think we all remember this. Leatherface destroys barricades quicker, plus instant start is shorter. This was a big buff for Leatherface, by the way, and rightfully so. I mean, the guy is the face of the franchise, you know? Leatherface is the face of the franchise for TCM, so he definitely deserved that that buff, in my opinion. And I feel like it was a good buff. But that's all when it comes to the patch notes. There was obviously a lot more fixes and changes, but I feel like those were the most important fixes and changes. But now let's talk about the content plus the sumo departure announcement. So let's talk about the sumo departure announcement first. So as we all may know already, Sumo and Gun Media worked on this game. But in February of 2024, Sumo announced their departure, and they handed over, Sumo left and they handed it over to Black Tower Studios. So now in 2025, as we're speaking, it's Gun Media and Black Tower Studios working on the game, not Gun Media and Sumo, because Sumo left February of 2024. So I feel like that was a very important, thing to share, because, Sumo was working on the game for like the first half of 2024. And then let's talk about the content now. So February 2024, we got Execution Pack number 2. We got weapon skins for the family. We got Shirtless Johnny and Bride Sissy, which were free, by the way. Shirtless Johnny and Bride Sissy for free. So that's all we got for content. And then moving on to the dev stream. The dev stream, they did a lore stream. A lot of people weren't interested in it, but I personally enjoyed this lore stream. So basically, when it comes to a lore stream, they just shared the stories for each character and how they got captured and how they were all related. Moving on to March 2024, let's just jump right into the patch notes. So Choose Fight was fixed once again. So level 3 of Choose Fight was not adding a 5-second stun duration after winning a close encounter. And then Julie's proximity was tuned, so they made Julie's proximity slightly smaller. And then Nancy's wait a second perk was changed, so they reduced the duration for the wait a second perk on Nancy. And then rubber banding was fixed. So if you guys don't know what rubber banding is, it's basically lagging during a match, but it's not because of your connection, it's because of the game. So they fixed that, but I still know people are experiencing rubber banding while playing this game. And then the Leatherface spawn points was fixed. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but sometimes Leatherface would actually spawn outside, so upstairs, when the match started. So they fixed that because obviously, you know, we all know already, Leatherface is supposed to spawn in the basement, not upstairs, you know, outside. So they fixed that with this update. And then, oh my God, dude, this was a pain in the ass what I'm about to mention. Family members soft locked fixed. This was one of the worst bugs of all time in my opinion. If you guys don't remember, let me explain it to you. So when you're playing family, if you were stunned while losing stamina, you couldn't interact with anything. So if you were stunned while losing stamina, you couldn't open a door, you can't swing, you can't go through crawl spaces, gaps, you can't do anything. This was one of the worst bugs of all time, and thank God they fixed it. And then they also fixed the match not ending fix. So matches were not ending when the last victim DC'd or was killed. And then lastly, Twinkle Toes perk was fixed, so Twinkle Toes didn't work on Bone Charms. So that's all for the patch notes. Obviously there was more, but I felt that these fixes and changes were the most important. So moving on to the content. We got Danny outfit pack number 1, plus we got Virginia and the Mill. Virginia was the new victim that came out in March, and the Mill was the new map that came out. And I don't know if you guys remember, but Virginia's skill tree was bugged when she came out, and I'll be talking about that for April 2024. Moving on to April 2024, this is when they introduced the 2-week updates. So before April, there was only 1 update per month. During April and moving forward, there's going to be 2 updates per month. So starting off with the first April update, Virginia's skill tree was fixed, so multiple paths on her skill tree were blocked, and Virginia's cosmetics were fixed, so you couldn't unlock cosmetics before when she first came out. So when you use a character for the first time, when you play 5 games with them, 10 games, 15 games, 20 games, you unlock a new cosmetic. But when Virginia came out, if you played even 100 games, you weren't unlocking anything. No cosmetics were unlocked because her cosmetics were bugged. But with this fix, the Virginia cosmetics fix, when you play Virginia 5 times, 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, you will finally be able to unlock her cosmetics. And then Danny's tamper was fixed. Dude, I completely forgot about this. There was a time in this game where Danny couldn't tamper the valve because it was bugged. But with this fix, the Danny tamper fix, they finally fixed it where he can tamper the valve. And then the Leatherface exploit was fixed, so Leatherface can use the Chainsaw Rev to bypass a door stun animation. And finally, the stun-proof family fix, so family were not being stunned by doors. And moving on to the second update in April, this was a big update, by the way, because they nerfed and buffed some perks. So the Fired Up perk was nerfed, they just lowered the percentage for it, and I'm gonna be honest, after the nerf on Fired Up, I didn't really notice the difference. I mean, it definitely wasn't a hard nerf, but I hardly noticed a difference. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not that bad. I know it got nerfed, but Fired Up is still a solid perk. And then Scout got buffed. This was game-changing. Like, this was a big buff because with the Scout buff, there's no more damage reduction. When the game first came out, if you used Scout, you get increased movement speed, but you have damage reduction. But with the Scout buff, you get increased movement speed, and there's no damage reduction now. So you get like pretty much free movement speed. You know what I mean? So, and then Extra Drip got nerfed. Extra Drip is still good. I know people say said like, you know, it's not that good after the nerf, but before it got nerfed, I mean, you could get a lot of health from Extra Drip, and obviously they lowered the amount of health you can get from it now, but it's still a good perk. I still use Extra Drip on pretty much all my builds if it's available. So Extra Drip got nerfed, but it's not like a bad nerf. It's not a hard nerf. It's such a good perk still, in my opinion. And then empowered. Okay, empowered is a perk that got nerfed hard because with empowered, here's what happened with empowered, guys, okay? Let's say you have like 10% health before this nerf, okay? Let's say you grapple a family member, okay, and you win the close encounter. You pretty much get all your health back, plus you get stamina. Now, with the empowered nerf, if you win a close encounter, you don't get health back. All you get is stamina. That's all you get. So they basically removed half of the perk. You used to get health and stamina after winning a close encounter. Now, after the empowered nerf, all you get is stamina. I don't see people using this perk as much anymore, but before this perk got nerfed, everyone was using this perk. And then they also nerfed fast hands. So yeah, they just lowered the percentage for fast hands. It wasn't a hard nerf. It's still such a really good perk, fast hands. Such a good perk in my opinion still. Not a bad nerf, not a bad nerf. And then Grappler got nerfed as well. They just lowered the percentage. Grappler is also another perk in my opinion that's still really good. Obviously, they nerfed it by lowering the percentage, but this perk comes so clutch when you're trying to win a close encounter and they have suffocating grip. You know what I mean? So these nerfs, honestly, the biggest nerf here, I would say, is definitely the empowered nerf. And obviously, the only buff I talked about here was a scout buff because that was definitely the most important buff in the patch notes and it's game changing. So yeah. I mean, that was a big update in my opinion. That second update in April. So let's talk about the content plus the dev stream. So with the content, we got the Ana outfit pack number 2. In my opinion, I think this is the best outfit pack they ever released. They also released the level 99 blackout cosmetics. So once you hit level 99, you get a blackout cosmetic for every character. And finally, for the content, they released the Sissy Wildflower outfit. The Sissy Wildflower outfit was all right. It definitely looks way better in the game, in my opinion. The screenshot doesn't do it justice, but I could definitely tell you, looks better in game. And then, for the dev stream, they talked about the backfill issue, lobby dodging. So let's talk about those two things real quick. I actually went back to watch the stream for this video, and I was actually surprised they talked about this because guess what, guys? The backfill issue is still in the game in 2025, and the lobby dodging is even worse now because people like to dodge for some reason, but it is what it is. So they talked about that, and I don't know, man. I still believe they got to do something about that because there definitely is a backfill issue. If you guys don't know what the backfill issue is, so nowadays in a lobby, let's say there's 4 victims in a lobby and 1 family member. You have to wait a while for the 2 spots for the family side to fill up. But if 1 victim backs out, it will fill up instantly. That's the backfill issue. I hope they address the backfill issue and the lobby dodging very soon because it's still a problem. It's still a problem. And they also said they couldn't meet the 90-day deadline for content. So basically, they said they were going to release a lot of content within 90 days, but they couldn't. They said they didn't want to put it out there because they weren't finished with it yet and they weren't happy with it. So they couldn't meet that deadline. And like I said before, they also said in the stream, they announced the 2-week updates, which means there's going to be 2 updates per month moving forward. Moving forward to May 2024, there wasn't really much going on with the patch notes because of how small it was. So I'm going to be talking about the majority of fixes and changes because of how small it was. So starting off with the first update in May, they added a lobby penalty. So there was a 3-minute penalty for backing out in the pregame lobby, and that's still in effect today. They also fixed Nancy, so Nancy's endurance was bugged, and her swings were the same no matter what her endurance was. They fixed the Virginia exploit, so her boon would bypass animations from Leatherface's overhead attack or Nancy's barbed wire. And finally, they fixed the boon and bone scrap. So throwing a boon to silence Nugget would deplete a bone scrap from your inventory. And then moving to the second update in May, I'm going to be honest with you guys, the second update in May, I think there was only like 4 or 5 fixes, and I'm only going to be talking about 2. So Nancy's House Storm was tuned, so they increased the sound of thunder, and the infinite skill points bug was fixed. Oh my god, I forgot about this. The infinite skill points bug was crazy. I know a few people out there that have like 3,000 skill points because of this bug. So players were allowed to gain an infinite amount of skill points. And they had to fix this, obviously, because, you know, people were abusing this bug to gain a lot of skill points. So moving on to the content, they released a Nancy and Johnny outfit, and this was a part of a Mother's Day bundle. They released a Connie outfit pack number 2 and execution pack number 3. Execution pack number 3, in my opinion, is the best execution pack they released. And then finally, they released Nancy's House Storm variant. The Nancy's House Storm variant is beautiful, by the way. Like when it first came out, I was hyped about it, not gonna lie with you. It's definitely a beautiful map in my opinion. Moving on to June 2024, let's jump right into the first update. And this first update was a big one because of the skill tree rework. So with the skill tree changes, random nodes have been removed and all skill trees will reset after patch. So if you guys didn't know already, when the game first came out up until June of 2024, there were random nodes all over the skill trees for each character. And when you clicked on that random node, it would give you a random perk. But the problem was a lot of people would sit in the main menu for 30 minutes to an hour trying to get lucky with the random perks and trying to get that perfect build. So in my opinion, I like the skill tree rework. And then they also fixed the wait a second perk. The wait a second perk didn't work as described, so that's why they fixed it. And finally, the back for blood perk was fixed. The health was not regained when attacking Grandpa. And now moving on to the second update in June, there was improvements of lobby cooldown penalty. The hand stamina exploit was fixed. This stamina exploit was crazy, by the way, because hands could swing 50 times when he shouldn't. They also fixed the disconnecting skill tree nodes, so the skill trees wouldn't connect properly. And finally, I didn't add this fix in the picture, but the ripstalled perk was fixed, and the ripstalled perk is a hands perk, and it was not functioning on the generator and the car battery. So moving on to the content, we got Maria, which is a new victim. We got Hans, which is a new family member, and you could also buy Maria and Hans in a bundle. And they also released the Leland outfit pack number 2. And finally, they released the Hitchhiker Claymore outfit. And in my opinion, I love this Hitchhiker Claymore outfit. I think it looks really good. Moving on to July 2024, this was a big update because the Grandpa perks were changed. So they changed how Grandpa perks unlock during a match. Grandpa perks are now placed into certain level categories. So the Grandpa perks can only activate at certain levels. So for an example, exterior alarms can only activate at level 3. Before this change, if your teammates only run exterior alarms, you get it at level 1. But now, if your team just uses exterior alarms, you can only get it at level 3. So it was a big change. Also, the victim endurance was fixed, so the endurance stat didn't feel noticeably different for players. And then the proficiency stat affecting car battery was fixed, so proficiency was not properly affecting the time it takes a victim to disable the car battery. And finally, the slippery perk on Sissy was fixed. Players were unable to equip slippery on Sissy. And then moving on to the content, they released the Julie outfit pack number 2 for the 4th of July. They released the Sunny outfit pack number 2. And finally, they released the Mill Knight variant. Moving on to August 2024, this month was a roller coaster, my friends. So let's just jump right into it. So for the first update in August, the suffocating grip level was changed. So like I said before, in the last month, July of 2024, they made a change to the Grandpa perks. So there's 3 categories now: level 1, level 2, and level 3. So the suffocating grip level change went from level 2 to level 1. And the Nobody Escapes Hell perk level was also changed. It went from level 3 to level 2. And then suffocating grip was buffed. It went from 20% to 25%. Nobody Escapes Hell was buffed. It went from 40% to 50%. And then exterior alarms was buffed. It went from 5 seconds to 10 seconds. And then the victim's inventory and hands trap was fixed. So victims would have hands trap in their inventory when they disarmed this trap. And that was a pain in the ass, by the way. So thank God they fixed that, because there was a time where, you know, when you disarmed Hans' trap, it would be in your inventory. You know what I mean? So thank God they fixed that. It was very annoying. And then Excited Grandpa buff. So Excited Grandpa went from 20% to 25%. And then there was a Brute Strength buff. So they slightly increased the damage on Brute Strength. And then Swinging for the Fences was buffed. It went from 20% to 25%. And then they added Museum Mode to the game. And then here we go. The second update. This is where it went downhill. Okay, so A good change though with the second update, the private matches change. So before with private matches, you were able, like before in private matches, before this update, you would have to get a group of friends to play private matches. But with this update, you can, you can go into a private match by yourself and explore the map by yourself. And that was a very good change because guess what, guys? When new players come to the game, they can go into a private match by themselves and learn the objectives, learn the spawns, the layout of the maps, etc. So that private match change was really good. And here's the problem, guys, with this update, okay? It was unplayable. They had to do a hotfix for it. This was their one and only hotfix they've ever done. They only did one hotfix for this game, and it was for this update because it was literally unplayable. You couldn't play public matches. I remember streaming this game like in August. I was streaming this game in August, obviously, and I had to do private matches until they did the hotfix because public matches were unplayable. The lobbies wouldn't fill up, and even if you got into a game in a public match, it would lag. It would be really bad to lag. It would be very delayed. You'd be teleporting, and plus in the lobbies, you were able to switch sides, which made no sense. It was literally unplayable. So I mean, thank God they did a hotfix for this because they needed to do a hotfix, or else people would have left the game. Because man, it was bad. It was really bad, that update, like bad. And then also, this was their last 2-week update. Their patch schedule changed. So they went back to doing, after August, they went back to doing one update per month. They didn't do 2-week updates anymore. Only one update per month after August. So that 2-week update schedule after August, it's done. So let's talk about the content plus Game Pass removal now. So they added the Family House Blood Moon variant, and keep in mind, I should have added this, my fault, but the Family House Blood Moon variant was a limited time. And they also added the Cook Filler Up outfit, Danny outfit pack number 2, and they also gave 3 free chainsaw skins. And this is, guys, it sucks for Xbox players because they literally announced, like the game was removed from Xbox Game Pass, but the problem was they literally announced the removal from Game Pass a week before or 2 weeks before it got removed. So it was kind of last minute, you know what I mean? So it sucks that I got removed from Game Pass because Game Pass helped this game a lot, in my opinion. But as you guys heard me say, this update was a roller coaster for obvious reasons. You know, the unplayable updates, the removal from Game Pass. It was just all over the place. This is definitely the most chaotic month in TCM history. Moving on to September 2024, this was a big update because they released a content pass, they released a new game mode called Rush Week, and they dropped the price for the game by half. And keep in mind, it was a permanent price drop. So going to the patch notes, the fuse box spawn on the mill was changed. So they changed the location to the first floor on the mill and removed it from the overgrown exterior because of the close proximity to the valve tank. Connie's focused SFX was fixed, so all players could hear Connie use her focused ability. The lockpicking exploit was fixed. A lot of people were addicted to this lockpicking exploit, so victims were able to bypass tool break progression by exiting and re-entering the minigame after hitting a checkpoint. The ripstall cooldown was fixed, so level 2 hands ability tree upgrade didn't give the correct cooldown. It's 72 seconds after the fix. And then tracker tagged was fixed, so it would lose functionality mid-match and not highlight victims after landing a hit. And then Sunny's star sign ability was fixed, so other players were able to see the visual effects from Sunny's ability. And finally, the family melee attack exploit was fixed, so family players could deal double damage with a single melee attack. And now for the content. They released a content pass, which is $20 USD. They released a new game mode called Rush Week, but when they released Rush Week, it was early access first. And in order to gain access to that, and in order to get that early access, you had to purchase the content pass. They also released the execution pack number 4, and the execution pack number 4 was also included with the content pass. So if you bought the content pass the day it came out, you got early access to Rush Week and the execution pack number 4. And don't worry, I know a lot of people were worried about the early access and all that for those who didn't buy the content pass. But the Monday after the update, Rush Week came out for everyone who didn't buy the content pass. And then for the execution pack number 4, if you don't want to buy the content pass, you could just buy the execution pack separately. The execution pack number 4, they had it separately as well. So you weren't forced to buy the content pass to get the execution pack or to play Rush Week. They also released the Virginia outfit pack number 1 and the Sissy Ivy outfit. I wasn't a fan of the Sissy Ivy outfit. I'm going to be completely honest with you. And then finally, the price for the game went from $39.99 to $19.99. And like I said before, this is a permanent price drop. So it's going to stay at $19.99. Moving into October 2024, this was a big update because this was the first update with some Rush Week changes and fixes. And also, this is a big update because they did a grapple rework. So close encounters / grapples changed. So each character have a grappling value assigned to them to determine their effectiveness in a close encounter. And in my opinion, I think the grapple rework was good. And then the custom private match toggles was tuned, so changes to victim health, family damage, character abilities, character perks, and HUD. Johnny's melee damage in Rush Week was changed. When Rush Week came out, Johnny was a 2-hit. Now after this update in October, he's a 3-hit. I personally think that 2-hit Johnny was perfectly fine in Rush Week. And then Johnny's lock picking in Rush Week was buffed. They increased Johnny's proficiency. And then Johnny's door stuns was tuned, so his stun time is decreased. Xbox Series X and S crash fix. Grandpa perks were fixed, so Grandpa levels weren't activating at the correct family bond level. Cook tagging dead bodies was fixed. This was an annoying bug, by the way. So Cook was incorrectly highlighting dead bodies after using Lovely Neck Execution. Stabbing Grandpa prompt was fixed, so you couldn't stab Grandpa from certain angles, but now it will be more consistent. And then door and gate inconsistencies fixed. Oh my god, the door and gate inconsistencies was one of the most annoying bugs in TCM history, in my opinion. So family members couldn't open doors and gates properly. Fast hands was fixed. Fast hands wasn't working properly at all. It was like completely bugged. So they had to fix it, no matter what, because it was not working at all. And then victim endurance fixed once again. Hitchhiker traps and windows fixed, so victims would receive double the damage from the inside window on Family House. So now after this fix, you can just jump over it without activating, because before this fix, if there was a trap on Family House, you would take damage from the trap and the window, but you would still be in the house. So you would take double the damage, even though you didn't jump out window, if that makes sense. But that, honestly, this fix, I don't mind it. You just have to place your trap outside now with Hitchhiker, that's all. And then Rush Week fuse box was fixed, so turning off the fuse box didn't actually turn it off. So when Rush Week came out, if you turned off the fuse box as Johnny, the sorority girls can still call the police. So that's what they fixed, because the fuse box, when he turned it off, it actually wasn't off, it was still on somehow. And then Rush Week attic pole spawned was tuned, so the attic poles are now spawned farther away from sorority girls. And finally, the blood trails were fixed, so the blood trails weren't showing up for both victims and family members. And for the content, they released the Maria outfit pack number 1. Maria outfit pack number 1 was actually pretty good. I liked it. They also released the hand suspenders outfit, Rush Week Halloween pack, Rush Week laundry day and towel cosmetic. They released a new map variant, the gas station storm map variant, and it's the first map with rain. And it has a lot of detail. I'm a big fan of the storm variant. I hope they, they give other maps the storm variant as well, because I like the rain. It's really good. The detail with the gas station storm map variant is really good. Well done to the devs for making that map, because really good when it comes to detail. And then finally, the dev stream. This is the last dev stream they did, by the way, before the year ended. This dev stream was a disappointment in my opinion. They said that there's no level cap increase. They said they couldn't get the TCM 2 rights, but they did say that licensed Leatherface skins are coming. They said that the future Leatherface skins are going to look familiar to the ones in the movies. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. And I'm pumped, though, because I'm pumped to see what the Leatherface cosmetics are going to be in the future, since they said it's going to be licensed. Moving into November 2024, they changed Hans' skill tree. So they removed Scout from Hans' skill tree. Scout was replaced by Unrelenting, and Dracula replaced the previous node for Unrelenting. Suffocating Grip was fixed. The Close Encounter minigame was more than 25%. Custom private match toggles was changed, so they added a toggle for item spawn rates. Slam doors on Johnny changed in Rush Week. So once level 3, doors slammed on Johnny would break as intended. They fixed the Leatherface exploit, so Leatherface could bypass the opening animation of doors and gates by running towards the door, revving and swinging their chainsaw at the same time. Grandpa perks activating at the wrong level was fixed, so all Grandpa perks would activate at level 1. Choose Fight was fixed, so the stun duration wasn't extending for sneak attacks properly. And then Rough Cut, this is the big one by the way. Rough Cut activation fixed. I didn't bother talking about Rough Cut because they said so many times in the updates that they fixed Rough Cut, but as of November 2024, they finally fixed Rough Cut. It actually works. So Rough Cut will activate every time Leatherface attacks a victim. Thank God. It actually works now, by the way, guys. Rough Cut is probably the most inconsistent perk in TCM history because they fixed it so many times, but it wasn't fixed until November 2024. And then the Wells and desync was fixed, so victims couldn't interact with items or desync from a match after they became in-cap from jumping down a well. Security pins was fixed, so security pins was not increasing the difficulty of the lock-picking minigame. And finally, the Cook padlock exploit fix. So Cook could add one of his padlocks to a door or gate, and saved minigame progress would transfer to his padlock instead. So now, for the content, we got Ana Outfit Pack number 3 and Julie Outfit Pack number 3. I like both outfit packs, by the way. Ana's outfit packs are always good. And I know a lot of people are like, you know, they have mixed opinions on the Julie Outfit Pack number 3, but I dig it. I like the high socks. And then they also released the level 99 blackout cosmetics for Maria, Hans, and Virginia. And for Content Pass users, they released the Summertime Outfit Pack. It's included in the Content Pass, and it's for all victims. And personally, I like the Summertime Outfit Pack a lot. It was something different, which we all wanted. And that's why I like the Summertime Outfit Pack. Moving into the final update of 2024, we're going to be talking about the December 2024 update. And this update was good for Nancy players like myself. So Nancy's barbed wire was changed, so family members can walk through Nancy's barbed wire without breaking them. And this was a big buff because it was a pain in the ass having to reset your traps over and over again when your own teammates walk through them. And the good thing about this too is now your teammates can walk through them and Nancy can walk through them. So when you place your own traps, you can walk through them as well. So this is a W buff for Nancy. And then Rush Week private matches was changed, so players can play Rush Week in private matches. Rush Week Johnny level 3 was changed, so they added back Johnny's speed increase at level 3. Hans' ability tree was tuned, and this is a nerf, by the way. This is a nerf. So reduce Ripstall cooldown level 2 of Hans' ability tree from 40% to 30%. So they nerfed it by 10%. And then another buff for Nancy. Nancy's barbed wire removal time tuned. So they reduced the time it takes Nancy to remove a barbed wire trap from 5 seconds to 3.5 seconds. And then another buff for Nancy. Nancy's trap placement time tuned. They reduced the time it takes for Nancy to set her barbed wire traps from 10 seconds to 7 seconds. These Nancy buffs were a W in my opinion. And then they fixed the victim endurance once again, and then I'm just gonna leave it at that because they fixed the victim endurance too many times. It's crazy. And then victims being permanently highlighted bug was fixed, but hear me out, guys. It actually wasn't fixed. They did mention this in the patch notes, but after playing this update in December of 2024 and playing this game in January of 2025, victims being permanently highlighted is still in the game. It's still a bug. They did not fix it. Just letting you guys know. But victims would become permanently highlighted to family members after being detected by Grandpa's sonar. And then security pins was fixed. It was stacking the difficulty of the lockpick minigame. And then finally, wireframe was fixed. So wireframe was only working like half, if that makes sense. It was only half working. It was only working for gaps, not crawl spaces. It's supposed to work for both gaps and crawl spaces. But it was bugged because, like I said, only working half, only for gaps, not crawl spaces. And then for the content, we got Wyatt, which is a new victim with the content pass. We got Bones, who is a new family member with the content pass. We also got Rush Week Homecoming Pack and Winter Holiday Pack. And then we got Graveyard, which is a new map. Not gonna lie, a lot of chickens on this map, a lot of puddles, a lot of mud, but hey, it's starting to grow on me, not gonna lie. But I also want to tell you guys about the bugs for Wyatt and Bones because this is a recent update, right? So I mean, by the time I upload this, it's literally going to be the 1 month anniversary for this December update. So just want to make it clear with you guys. When it comes to Wyatt, there's a bug with Wyatt when you throw a knife at a family member or even an objective, it can crash everybody's game in the lobby, and you will have to back out. And then for Bones, um, you can only use a blood build on the guy. His savagery and his endurance is bugged. Just want to spread the word out there for people that do not know. Just want to spread the word. But other than that, we got a lot this month. We got some Nancy buffs. We got, new characters. We got Wyatt and Bones with the content pass. We got a new map. And yeah, that's how we ended 2024. What a way to end it off. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This update has a lot of bugs, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. So that's going to be it for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And it actually took me a while to put this video together because I had to go on their Twitter page for the content, had to go on the websites for the patch notes, and I also had to watch all the dev streams again because I obviously forgot about it. But honestly, I had a lot of fun making this video, and I will be sharing my thoughts. But before I share my thoughts, I want to thank you all for being a part of this journey with me. 2024 was a really good year for me, and I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you. So now I'm going to be sharing my thoughts for I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on TCM 2024. So, best update in my opinion in 2024 for TCM is the June 2024 update. They released Maria, Hands, they released a Hitchhiker Claymore outfit, there was the skill tree rework, and guess what? The lobbies were really good when this update came out because they released a character for both sides. So June 2024 is definitely the best update in my opinion. On the other hand, the worst update, in my opinion, I think we can all agree that August 2024 is the worst update. I mean, TCM was removed from Xbox Game Pass, and the anniversary update was unplayable. They literally had to do a hot fix. They literally had to do a hot fix for it. That's how bad it was. But honestly, the second worst update, in my opinion, this might surprise some people, but I think it's not going to surprise that many people. But the December 2024 update, which is the most recent update, I think is the second worst update in 2024. And you want to know why? There's so many bugs with that update. I mean, I'm going to go over it real quick, but everyone thought this was going to be the best update in 2024 because, they released Wyatt and Bones, they released a new map with a new escape. But guess what, man? This update was filled with bugs. If you use Wyatt, he can crash your game when you throw a knife. With Bones, you can only use a blood build on the guy. His savagery and his endurance doesn't even work. And for Xbox players, their games are crashing nonstop now again. And then Graveyard, I mean, I have nothing against Graveyard. They're starting to grow on me, but I know a lot of people don't like that map. But I'm not saying this update is the worst because of the map. I'm saying it because of the amount of bugs with this update is just unacceptable, especially the old bugs that are returning. It's crazy, but definitely August 2024 is the worst update in TCM history. And then the best victim that was released is Virginia, 100%. Virginia is really fun. She's not objective based. Her ability actually affects the gameplay, and that's why I think she was the best victim that was released. And then the best family member that was released is definitely Hands. I would probably say Bones if like his attributes was working. And I know Hands is an objective based character, but there was only two family members that came out in 2024, Hands and Bones. I can't say Bones because you can only use a blood build on the guy. I have to go with Hands no matter what because Bones is like broken. You can't even use the guy properly, so got to go with Hands. The best victim cosmetic, in my opinion, is the Ana outfit pack number 2 or the summertime outfit pack. I would probably lean towards, I probably lean towards the summertime outfit pack as the best victim cosmetic because it was something different. You know what I mean? And then the best family cosmetic is definitely the Hitchhiker Claymore outfit. I like the Hitchhiker Claymore outfit, not gonna lie. It's definitely the best family cosmetic in my opinion. And then the best map released. Two maps were released. I'm going to go over the map variants as well, but two maps were released, the Mill and Graveyard. Graveyard has only been out for a month. I can't really say much about it. I mean, When it came out, I hated it, but it's starting to grow on me. But I gotta go with the mill because I played the mill way more, so it definitely grew on me, the mill. But hey, I might switch that up in the future because the graveyard is definitely starting to grow on me. So, but as of right now, the mill was definitely the best map that was released in 2024. And I know graveyard has a new escape, but I like the layout better on the mill because there's some parts of like the graveyard map that makes no sense at all. Not gonna lie, there's literally a basement on graveyard, and you can't even like. There's a basement on graveyard where if you go down, you literally trap yourself. You know what I mean? There's only one way in and one way out, which makes no sense, but it is what it is. And then the best map variant released, I think we can all agree, Gas Station Storm is definitely the best map variant released. I mean, that was that's the only map. Actually, no, Graveyard has a little rain, I'm pretty sure, but Gas Station Storm was like the first map with rain, and hopefully they add more storm variants in the future because the detail on that Gas Station Storm map is phenomenal. There's a lot of detail. You got the puddles, the rain. It's a phenomenal map. I'm not gonna lie with you. I enjoyed that map a lot. And then let me talk about, okay, the content pass is a good idea. You know, I like the content pass. They're probably gonna release, you know, a phase 2 for the content pass after this content pass number 1 finishes up. And then for Rush Week, I'm gonna be honest with you. I know there's Rush Week fans out there, but I am not a fan of Rush Week. I was a fan of Rush Week when it first came out. It was a lot of fun, but after like 3 days, I got bored of it. So that's my opinion on Rush Week. And then let's talk about the weapon skins because they just released, you know, they just released one weapon skin pack. You know what I mean? So I feel like if they ever want to release weapon skins again, they have to do it where it's earnable. Like put a challenge up to earn, you know, weapon skins. Maybe like get 50 kills as Johnny, you unlock this weapon skin for him. Get 50 kills with Cook, you unlock the skin for the broomstick. You know what I mean? And then let me also talk about the execution pack because I didn't talk about that. So the best execution pack, in my opinion, is definitely the third one. The third one was flawless. It was perfect in my opinion. I enjoyed the execution pack number 3. Best execution pack by far in 2024. And continuing on with what I was going to say, yeah, the weapon skin should be earnable for sure. I feel like they have to add challenges to TCM so people can grind for something. You know what I mean? And then it's unfortunate that this game got removed from Xbox Game Pass. I'm going to be honest, I think Xbox Game Pass helped this game a lot, so it was very unfortunate that it got removed from Game Pass. Very unfortunate. And the last thing I want to say when it comes to my thoughts, I feel like the first half with TCM 2024 was good, like it was all right. And then after the anniversary update, I feel like I started to go downhill a little bit because after the anniversary update, there was a lot of bugs coming to the game, a lot of problems, and it's just so unfortunate because this game has a lot of potential and I'm rooting for them in 2025. Hopefully they can release, you know, updates that are more smooth and that don't have a lot of bugs. Like hopefully they can get control of bugs. What I mean by get control of bugs, hopefully they can, you know, figure out how to stop all these bugs coming to the game and these old bugs. That's the main problem with TCM after the anniversary updates. You know, a lot of bugs were coming to the game, but here's the thing, a lot of old bugs were coming back to the game, which is not good for the game at all. So I'm rooting for them in 2025. I will be streaming this game in 2025. I will still be uploading this game in 2025. I will be with TCM until it dies. You know, I'll be there till the end no matter what. But yeah, that's what I want to say about TCM 2024. Those were my thoughts. Leave a comment down below and let me know, what are your thoughts on TCM 2024 and what was your favorite update? But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and be sure to leave a like and subscribe and take care, guys. Have a good day and see you in the next one.